Wow, a movement is born, is it not? Friends, look how they queue. Look how they queue in their hundreds around the block in Britain in 2015, and this is not a rock concert. These are people gathering to hear a politician, but above all else to discuss an inspiring and optimistic vision of how our society can be. That's what this is all about. Now friends, I've had the honour and the good fortune to know Jeremy for many years. And I can tell you this, and I know many of you know it, that he is a man of conviction, of determination and of courage, and the 4-time winner of Beard of the Year, which they don't just hand about, by the way. But the thing about Jeremy is this: he's someone who stands up for his principles and his convictions and beliefs, no matter what they throw at him. And time again, he was on the right side of history, and he was vindicated. When our governments were calling the ANC terrorists, Jeremy Corbyn was out there getting arrested for campaigning against apartheid. When our governments were arming Saddam Hussein to the teeth as he gassed and bombed the Kurds, it was Jeremy Corbyn outside the Iraqi embassy campaigning against the Iraqi dictatorship. When you were attacked and reviled and demonised for standing up for the dignity and rights of LGBT people, for being on the loony left, it was Jeremy Corbyn standing up for the rights of LGBT people. He's a visionary. He's a man who made the right call time and time again, and as he was vindicated then, so he is being vindicated all over again. But friends, now many of you have heard Jeremy speak before, and you will hear him again tonight, but for those who have not, you will note this. The one word Jeremy almost never uses is I. He says we, and he doesn't mean the royal we. He means us. It means all of us, and not just people in this room and in the overflow rooms and those who are gathered around the block. He means the millions of people who need a voice. And that's what this is all about. Whatever happens on September the 12th, and we must keep building, we must keep registering supporters to make sure he is elected as leader of the Labour Party. But whatever happens, we've won already. Look at us. A movement is born. This genie is not going back in any lamp. We are reborn as a movement. We are a political force once again. Across this nation, in every village and town and city, you can see this movement emerging. We must now build the biggest progressive political movement this country has seen for generations. No pressure, but that is what we must do. But then, let's say this. And let's make sure we're clear about this. Of course, in large part, this is, of course, about electability. Of course it is. What's the point of a vision unless you can inspire enough of the country to elect a government that can transform the lives of millions of people? But you do not do that by capitulating to policies that destroy living standards and jobs and public services and futures. You do it by building a coalition of the real wealth creators, working people, the people who keep this country ticking day after day, whether they're on low income or middle income people. That is the movement we're going to build. And we have to say this is an important point. For a long time, the left, sometimes with good cause, has been attacked for just having slogans, for knowing what we're against, but not knowing what we're for. Well, how wrong we have now proven them. Because it is this campaign with a vision. It's this campaign with the optimism. It's this campaign with the hope. We are the ones offering a vision of a society that is run in the interests of working people. And it is our opponents who are out of ideas, out of optimism, out of vision, and increasingly running out of time as well. We're the ones setting the agenda. But as much as it is sometimes enjoyable to see those who oppose everything we stand for looking occasionally a bit rattled, this is not the time to be complacent. Firstly, we have to, as I've said, organise and recruit people and build a mass movement and a party that once again is rooted in communities and can transform people's lives. So we need to keep building for that. But whatever happens after September the 12th, if he wins, and I say this, when he wins, someone yells, let's keep optimism. Even if he doesn't, we still win, and we still do this, because this is the point I want to make. They're already throwing quite a lot at him, and they're throwing a lot at this campaign, but it will be like nothing compared to what they'll throw against him if he wins. He will have few friends in the political establishment and the media establishment. I'll try my best to be a lone voice and work on getting others into there, so we have more voices, but nonetheless, they will close ranks. They will close ranks. So that's why this bit, I'm going to say, is the most important bit I will ever say. The only way we can overcome the hostility and the demonisation they will throw at us is to make sure that we don't just turn up to these rallies and clap and cheer and go home with a bit more optimism and hope than when we began and pat ourselves on the back and do nothing else. Every single one of us has to make an oath tonight, has to make a commitment that we will go out into our communities and into all the communities of this country and build a grassroots movement that can take on whatever is thrown at us after September the 12th. And what we have to do, let's make this commitment. On September the 13th, the day after the Labour leadership election, that day we begin the biggest voter registration drive that this country has ever seen. To get those who need a vote again. The millions who did not vote. And we will tell them that you didn't vote, but now you have hope. You have something that can change your lives. That politics isn't something you think is divorced from your everyday lives, that can't solve your everyday problems. Now we have something. That instead of allowing the politics of fear to run rampant, we say to those people who voted UKIP, we don't write them off, we don't demonise them. We say instead we will give you the politics of hope to answer your everyday concerns on everything from housing to jobs to services and the future of your children. We will win every single one of those back that we can. Every single one. Until the scourge of UKIP is driven from this country once and for all by the politics of hope. That's what we're going to do. That's what we've got to do. But friends, look at these policies. Instead of austerity shredding people's lives, quantitative easing that doesn't go to the banks so they can just rebuild their bank balances, the people who plunge this country into economic disaster. Instead, we use it to invest in infrastructure, including green infrastructure, to save both the environment and to create jobs, to modernise this country. A public investment bank that rebuilds this shattered economy as well. A genuine living wage so that once and for all we abolish the scourge of in-work poverty. No one will ever earn their poverty again. That is our pledge. That is our commitment. That instead of punishing the aspiration of so many young people for better education and allowing their living standards to be attacked for years to come because they had that audacity, that aspiration, instead, as Jeremy Corbyn has committed, with a costed plan, we abolish tuition fees and give people a decent education, finally for all. A national education service from cradle to grave. That we solve this housing crisis. That we build the council housing that millions need. No more waiting on social housing waiting lists. That instead of private renters being at the mercy of their landlords, instead we give them security and control those rents. And that we give those who want home ownership the chance to fulfil it without flogging off the desperately needed social housing we have. And we will continue with these visions. We will continue with these policies. We will continue setting the agenda. And just to wrap up, yes, they'll throw a lot at us. But friends, we are in a very proud tradition in this country. The tradition of not waiting for the goodwill and generosity of the powerful, but knowing that everything we win because people organise from below, often at great cost and sacrifice, like those who fought for democracy, like those suffragettes who fought for the right of women to vote, like those trade unionists who fought for workers' rights, like those who took on racism and sexism and homophobia, like those who built the welfare state, like those who built the NHS. We stand on the shoulders of giants. We must have the same determination, the same courage and the same hope. Let's get out there, let's organise, let's elect Jeremy Corbyn and let's build a society run for all of us. That's all it is.